Detailed case summary. Katz v. United States is a landmark Supreme Court case that expanded the Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable searches and seizures to include electronic eavesdropping and wiretapping. The case established that the Fourth Amendment's protection of privacy extends to all areas where a person has a reasonable expectation of privacy. Background facts. Claimant, petitioner, Charles Katz, defendant, respondent, United States of America. Facts of the case. Incident. Charles Katz was suspected of transmitting gambling information over the phone to clients in other states. To gather evidence, the FBI placed an electronic listening device on the outside of a public phone booth that Katz frequently used surveillance. Without obtaining a warrant, the FBI recorded Katz's conversations, which were later used to convict him of illegal gambling activities. Appeal. Katz argued that the recordings were obtained in violation of his Fourth Amendment rights, which protect against unreasonable searches and seizures. He maintained that the phone booth was a private space and that he had a reasonable expectation of privacy while using it. Arguments in the court case. Katz's argument. Expectation of privacy. Katz contended that he had a reasonable expectation of privacy while using the phone booth and that the FBI's electronic surveillance constituted an unlawful search and seizure under the Fourth Amendment warrant requirement. He argued that the FBI should have obtained a warrant before conducting the surveillance. Government's argument. Public place. The government argued that since Katz was in a public phone booth, he did not have a reasonable expectation of privacy. Physical penetration. They contended that because the listening device did not physically enter the phone booth, it did not constitute a search under the Fourth Amendment. Final outcome and legal justification. Outcome. Ruling. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of Katz, holding that the Fourth Amendment protects people, not places. The court determined that Katz's privacy was violated, and thus the recordings could not be used as evidence against him. Decision. The decision was 7-1 in favor of Katz. Legal justification. Reasonable expectation of privacy. The court articulated the reasonable expectation of privacy test, which asks whether the individual had an expectation of privacy that society is prepared to recognize as reasonable. Fourth Amendment application. The court emphasized that the Fourth Amendment protects people rather than specific places. Therefore, the protection against unreasonable searches and seizures applies wherever an individual has a reasonable expectation of privacy. Warrant requirement. The court underscored that searches conducted without a warrant are unreasonable under the Fourth Amendment unless they fall within a few narrowly defined exceptions. Key concept implications. Expectation of privacy. Katz v. United States established the principle that the Fourth Amendment protects individuals' privacy expectations rather than specific locations, extending its reach to various forms of electronic surveillance. Warrant requirement. The decision reinforced the necessity of obtaining a warrant for electronic surveillance to ensure compliance with the Fourth Amendment. Key lessons. Privacy protections. Katz v. United States significantly broadened the scope of privacy protections under the Fourth Amendment, emphasizing the importance of protecting individuals' reasonable expectations of privacy. Legal evolution. The case illustrates the Supreme Court's ability to adapt constitutional interpretations to evolving technologies and societal norms. Judicial oversight. The decision underscores the crucial role of judicial oversight in safeguarding constitutional rights against government overreach, particularly in the context of new and emerging forms of surveillance.